Alright, front shocks are getting mocked up. These are obviously the rear shocks. I just flipped it upside down, used the eyelet on the bottom, and because this is a 5/8 or 16 millimeter factory deal, so that just a bolt fit through there, and ultimately the ride height distance is going to be around 14 inches, which is right at this bottom base plate here. So I'm going to take a measurement from the inside of this tube to the center line of the shock right here, and that will give me my tabs. And what I'm going to do is draw one up in Fusion and then print them out. I might print one, I might print both of them. What I'm going to do is grab my shock jig. I'll show you what I'm talking about because I have to make another one because I lost the first one. How? I don't know. I'm very good at misplacing things and not knowing what I did with them, and then either having to buy another one or make another one. It's really frustrating.
Frustrating because I can't figure it out. It's frustrating.
And I have all my spring rates and everything figured out. I used a chart online where you plug in numbers of your lower control arm from the pivot point to the shock, the pivot point to the ball joint, the degree that the shock is sitting, and then it calculates everything with your weight, the motion ratio, of the shock, and then gives you your spring rate base. And then with that you can go higher, lower, depending on what you're trying to do as far as a cruiser, street track car, or full dedicated track car. So I will get the tabs drawn up and printed out, and then put the shock jig in here to see where they're going to sit. And the reason I did this with this guy is because it already has a spring on it, so it's centered in the upper control arm. Obviously it's a tight fit with these because from the factory the Supras and SC300s had basically the shock body come up above this, and then the spring was above that. Since I'm running the spring down through it, that it fits. But eventually I will make some tubular front control arms and just bump them out a hair. Okay, so I went to screen record Fusion 360, and I don't know why it cocked the screen off like this, but you basically can't see the tools, but you can see me kind of laying this thing out and drawing it. I'll get a few little things done here and then extrude this radius off the corners, and then go ahead and export it. Then drag it into Cura, set it flat, slice it, and then get rid of it into the program, and then throw it on the 3D printer and get to it. So there's my janky shock jig. I need to make a little bit better one. My other one was better, but this one just kind of had to put together with what I had right now. But yeah, it looks like everything's gonna fit fine. The tabs are gonna work. Obviously I'll have some bracing, some gussets, stuff like that. But yeah, at least now I have this thing set where she's gonna go, so I can get these tabs welded on and double check the other side, make sure that's good to go before not before, but I don't need the shocks here to do this, which is nice. That way when I get everything together, the shocks will be on the front and it'll be ready to sit on its own weight, except I still got to yank this subframe out one more time because I reference marked the holes for the subframe to get mounted, because there's no bolts in here yet bolting this to the actual frame. Once this engine comes out again, Then it should be everything. The supercharger's still sitting up there. I need to take that off. It would be fun to have a twin charged 1J. I think somebody had one, but it was in an RX-7. I don't think he was using a 112. He was using like an Eaton M90 or something like that. But either or. And finally fired this thing up. I got the fuel line bracket for holding the bulkhead on. This guy here, next I needed to take a measurement with my gunner piece to get this center line on it, and then put another bracket probably right down here, and that'll be that. That'll be, at least the fuel lines from the tank to here will be done, and then just gonna be soft lines to the front. But this thing is handy as shit. Strong arm tools, and it's basically just a magnetic clamp that you can roll around, and it'll put pressure on stuff and hold it, which basically it held this tab so I could use filler wire and TIG tack it on there. So it's pretty handy.